Hey, we've got a cloudy morning here in paradise, but that's okay. And I had to find a little spot. I found a spot I've never been to before. It's actually a beautiful church that has like this a lot of ground and park like setting. So, and places to walk around. So that's where I've ended up today. And I'm going to find a nice little bench to maybe even sit over. There's a nice fountain. Um, Here's my view and where, yeah. So nice little spot. Nice little I think it's a Catholic church. Yes. Anyway, so we're going to sit here with William Douglas, and maybe this is a picture of statue of a saint. I don't know. So the word that came to me this morning, and as I'm powering through Joshua and all of the allocation of land to all the tribe and describing all the boundaries. And for some reason, the word harmony came to mind, and which is interesting. Um, but we'll roll with it and see what comes out, see what God does, because I don't know. Um, but in order for the whole new country of Israel and all the different tribes and clans and they needed to know where to go. They needed to know what was theirs, what they were responsible for, uh, so that they could all get along as a community, harmony. They could all live in harmony as one body. I've been kind of conceptually and metaphorically taking a lot of the scriptures and then really applying it to, our physical selves, our emotional, mental selves. Um, and even in order to our body and this you know concept is used a lot actually in the New Testament, the body of Christ, how we're all supposed to get along and not compare ourselves to each other. A hand is a hand and a hand is important, a foot is a foot, a knee, a leg, all of it. And as humans we really want to like compare, and those kinds of thoughts, when we go down those rabbit trails, can really cause a lot of confusion and disharmony. And so people, and even groups of people, like, we need to know our boundaries. That's sort of, I've been coaching a lot on boundaries and even studying boundaries because I have a lot of work to do in that area, is boundaries. And boundaries help us live in harmony within ourselves, with each other, one to one, in groups, in families, and, on out. So from the macro level to the micro level, boundaries are important. And even as the tribes of Israel and the people, Moses handed down laws. We got the Ten Commandments and even more and more of the commandments. Um, Not just commandments, but rules to live by, the court system. All of this contributes to, I'm trying to give you some nice views, not just me, um, to harmony. Harmony. And we can all understand harmony also with music. When you hear a good harmony where all of the notes, you can kind of tell what they are, and they play well with each other and create a beautiful harmony. And we know when we hear, if people are not doing what they're supposed to do on the music seat and just, it's noise, it's not harmonious. And we can even do that within ourselves. When we do not have boundaries, when we don't know who we are, what our preferences are, where we end, another begins, it can create a lot of disharmony. And for somebody that is a recovering people pleaser, um, I had that flipped. Like, I really thought it was my role to sort of, I'm happy if you're happy. I don't care. What do you like? I'm going to do whatever, blah, blah, and if somebody in my household was upset, it was my responsibility to jump in and fix it, like little super mom, super wife, super whatever, super sister. Like, oh, problem, oh, like that was my whole being. I didn't have my own identity. My identity was through satisfying what I thought and fixing other people's problems and needs and fulfilling their desires. Like, if you try to live at that level with people and satisfying fickle people, um, it's exhausting. I don't recommend it. Um, and it does cause you to sort of seek other things to do to soothe yourself from all of that disharmony. Like, we know internally, like I knew somewhere in myself, like, this is hard, but I didn't know another way. And I did never even pause long enough. I didn't push the pause button on life long enough to really like evaluate where all of this came from. And it probably came from some misconstrued childhood situation that where I learned, oh, when I'm the good girl, mom and dad are happy, or dad, or who, whatever. Things go well for me when I'm being the good girl and I'm taking care of everybody and trying to meet everybody's needs. And when that kind of identity sets it, and you may be the opposite, maybe you learned that, um, you needed to push against things. And when we go to those extremes, it creates disharmony. Harmony is found in balance, in knowing who you are, who other people are, and relating appropriately or healthily to other people. It is not appropriate to try to be all things to all people. And for women, in I'm a woman, so I can speak from a woman's point of view, but I'm sure men also suffer from this in different ways or can fall victim to this. So it's not specific to women, but we women, as caretakers, um, and layer in our modern Western, evangelical church expectations in there, or what we perceive, or sometimes we get mixed messages. That's like a double layering of like, oh, you've got to do all the things. You've got to serve at church, you've got to serve at home, and and when other people don't step up, you step in and do things that maybe aren't yours to do. And that can create a lot of disharmony. And I just, like, in my head right now, I'm even hearing the difference between what is a nice melody and maybe like if everybody plays at once and out of turn, and drums are going and cymbals banging, and somebody who doesn't really know how to play the violin is screeching, and the flute, like, wow, that's not, like, we don't want that. But a lot of times we look at, we create lives that feel that way, and no wonder we want to sort of duck out for a minute. We're like, it's too much, I can't do it. And um so back to Joshua, like, it was they went through this process of not only having like the big laws, the little laws, a system, a judicial system in which to handle it. Then, as they take over the land, they had to divide it up very clearly, put boundaries up. Okay, this is your land, this is your land, this is your land. So then people could live in harmony together in this new land and create sort of a unified nation. And we still do that today. We have states, we have towns, cities, like, that's what part of what makes this work. And I'm sure all over the world there are various forms of this. Like, people have to put these boundaries in place in society, and but drill down to the individual level. And we've got a lot of individuals that didn't pick up this message within themselves, probably through, you know, dysfunctional family dynamics and mixed, messages, whatever. Um, and like me, you picked up a childhood message that sort of defined you. That's your personality, your persona. And you never, life just starts getting busy as an adult too. And you never really stop to think. And especially people pleasers, a lot of what we do is appreciated by people. Oh, we like the nice people that do all the things for us. And we get a lot of like pats on the head. Oh, or, the ego gratification of being the go-to person. There's a shadow side to that. Like, that's not good. Um, and it also robs people of their own opportunities to step up to the plate or to go find the person that really should be doing it. Just because there is a need doesn't need to mean it needs to be met by you. I'm talking to my fellow people pleasers out there. And if you're rigid and you're saying no to everything, what are you missing out on? What is God calling you to do that maybe you really should be saying yes to? Because you're also limiting yourself from deep connection. So, connection is really the underlying thing here, and communication. And of course, we connect through various types of communication: words, music, body language, all kinds of ways that we communicate with each other. And and that is what also connects us. And a healthy connection to other people involves healthy boundaries so that we can really relate to each other in a harmonious way. And when it's too skewed one way or the other, whether you have no boundaries or you're too rigid, it creates disconnection between not only you and others, but you and yourself. You either lose yourself through pouring out and being, not having sort of edges, or you have such sharp edges that you're also not connected and you're keeping people away. People can't get close to you because they're afraid they're going to get poked and put, like hurt. And you are doing that whichever way you are because you have learned that this is how you protect yourself. This is how people love me. And how I'll know if they love me, if they either pat me on the head or if they can get through my defenses, then they've proven that they love me. You can see how that's not going to work long term. And it can create us, and then we know this within us. And so we're looking for other ways to find balance. And so we might do some unhealthy things, go steal from other people's land, um, eat too much within ourselves to soothe the thing that we know we're missing, but we don't know what it is. But we know there's something in there that needs to be soothed and dealt with. So we, don't have good internal boundaries because we don't have external. Like, it's all related. It's all creates a harmony, a harmonious life. Like, we know when we look at somebody who's kind of getting it right and living healthily, like, we know there's evidence. They're probably you see the contentment on their face. Now, of course, a lot of people are pretending, but then there's other fruit of it in their lives. Whether it's living, a family that seems to really get along, it just shows up. You just know it when you see it. And so it is possible. Jesus came here and modeled that for us. Um, and we have glimpses of it in the Old Testament too, through clearly defined boundaries and people and playing their roles and communities playing their roles in a healthy and balanced way. And then when it falls into place, you've got a nice harmony. So if your life is not feeling harmonious, do some prayer, do some meditation, and thinking about what is out of balance. Where haven't you put a clear boundary? Where are you not playing your part in this music well, either within yourself or within your family or community? Or maybe you're in a family of chaos that you need to get out of for a little bit. Sometimes we've got to get out of these situations to be able to get a clear head and then decide whether or not it's worth trying to be in communication, or if you're going to be in connection with certain people, maybe you have to really think about what that's going to look like and putting some really healthy boundaries in place so that you can be healthy. When we are healthy and doing what's good for us, it works for the higher good as well, the common good. Um, and when we are overdoing it and we're playing at the extremes, that shows up as disharmony. Hopefully, this is all like, I don't know, making sense. But harmony was the word that was coming, and wanting to live a life of harmony and balance where things within you and your role with other people feels aligned and harmonious. All right, go have a blessed day. It is Friday, as I'm recording this, day 35, February 4th? No, 3rd. All right, 2022. Bye. Go have a great day.